Good morning, good day, and good night, fellow Anchorites, and welcome to Chaos Chronicles. I'm Jordyn, and this is my co host, co pilot, Dustin, and we're discussing all things Disney's Marvel and Star Wars universe. No matter where in the galaxy you are, gr- get yourself a blue milk, a nature gal, or a radium slice, and prepare for takeoff because we have a lot of things to discuss in today's episode.
Hey, welcome back to Chaos
Woo!
Chronicles, everybody. It's been a minute. Welcome back. Sorry for the delay in this. We have had some stuff going on. Our little co pilot over here went on a journey through hyperspace, baby.
Yes, and I encountered a Mandalorian.
Yes, yeah, yes. And can confirm. Can confirm. She did.
I did tell Grogu that Grogu told me he wanted more frogs, so I relayed the message to Din.
Give him the frogs, baby.
He's hungry.
Yes. Well, I'm glad we are back and we are ready to talk about episodes 4 and 5 of Skeleton Crew. Let's
Ooh.
get into it. Let's get right on into it. Episode 4, I can't say I remember Attin. Or no Attin. My bad. No Attin. I can't remember. I can't say I remember no Attin. Jeez. Hey.
Welcome back to the Goonies.
Right. Honestly, this episode was given the Goonies at some points. I'm not even going to lie. We'll get into it.
And then episode 5 was full of Goonies.
Actually.
Yeah.
Actual realty. So now, episode 4 starts out, and our crew lands on this planet which they think is Attin, because it looks exactly like it, and we see that in the multiple scenes in the first few minutes. The house that they enter looks exactly like Fern's house when Fern was in episode 2 or 3, I think, when she was telling her robot to go forget that she was late or whatever. So it looks exactly like the houses here. But my question is, why do these planets all look the same? Like literally, they're mirrors of each other.
It's
I'm confused of
wild.
why it is weird. Like what? Why? Why do we all have to look the same? Is there something on one planet that we don't want anyone to know? Like, are we trying to hide something?
I definitely feel like they're trying to hide something just with the way nobody is to know that Attin exists.
Mm-hmm.
Um, those mysterious credits that Wim got from his dad, especially being more valuable than,
They realize
yeah,
because they're old Republic credits, right? That was
yeah.
confirmed.
Yep.
Which, who knows what that even like accounts to now in this new era. But we quickly find out this is obviously not and even though Wim is like, what if we were gone for 100 years?
Wim is drinking like Kool-Aid.
He's drinking the blue milk or whatever it was. But yes.
It's
So we
still
find
least
this.
favorite character.
Mine too. And there is a reasoning. Okay, this is just completely off the path here. Wham almost gets these people killed multiple times within these 2 episodes. Let's get into that. So our crew of children find this girl named Hannah, and which she asks them a weird question: "Which flag do you fly?" And I'm like, "Girl, what? What is happening in this
That was
planet?"
giving Mandalorian.
It was. You know what? I actually didn't even realize that when I was watching the episode and at
Because
all.
I believe they had Mandalorian armor.
Hmm. Wait. That totally went above my head if so. Ooh. That makes a lot of sense actually. Now I'm like stepping back a second.
It, yeah, I believe like when she initially met them, She was in Mandalorian gear. Like she had a Mando style helmet. So yeah, I'm pretty sure Mandalorian at some
Huh.
point.
Well, interesting. Well, that
Or
makes me wonder.
they defeated the Mandalorian and stole their armor.
Right.
There's various things that could be going on there.
Yes. Which is interesting that you say that, because that didn't even cross my mind until you had just mentioned that. Which makes me wonder, because it never really, this is just kind of talking about the episode broad, the whole episode. They never really explain what the two communities were fighting about on this planet. They never explain that. But we know that the tribes are the Troik, which is the tribe that Hannah and her dad, who is the general, his name's Strix, is on. And then the Hatton, I think it's pronounced, is the other community that we know nothing about. We literally knew nothing about them. Found out absolutely nothing. And these two tribes have been fighting and have been at war forever, it seems. And we don't know why. And now I'm wondering if you're onto something about Mandalorian.
Yeah, it was interesting.
It was interesting. I'm wondering if could these communities be different Mandalorian tribes?
I'm leaning towards a yes.
Okay. I'm leaning towards this now also. You just kind of blew my mind with this statement. Oh, and then so as our crew is introduced to Hannah, she says that the enemy's coming to hide. So they jump into this busted vehicle, I think it was. I don't remember what it was.
It was
And
janky.
it was janky, whatever it was. And this is one of the times where Wim almost got these people killed, because Wim's ass was looking out that window as they were walking not even 30 feet away, like mesmerized by what was happening. Girl, you cannot tell me none of these people saw this person's head in this window. Disney,
the way Wim acts, I get the impression he has definitely lived a very sheltered life.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I mean, he does have his mother. His dad's kind of gone and out of the picture too, even though he's there. I think Wim just has been, living a sheltered life, kind of like stuck in a child state. I feel like he acts younger than he actually is. And that's because of those reasons.
And then, like, the thing with his dad was like, aren't you a little old for that? When it comes to, like, the bedtime story comment. So.
And that actually makes a good point. I'm wondering if he's holding on to all of this and like his childhood so strongly because his mother's been gone, and we don't know exactly what happened to her.
I'm not 100% sure we ever will.
I'm not sure either. I don't think we will, because she has not been brought up
at all.
So it's a very gray area. But Wham almost gets our friends killed, and then we the enemy tribe passes through, and then we get to a scene where we meet Hannah's dad, the Strix, who says that all of the children on the planet are treated like adults, and then he wants these children to train these random kids that don't even belong on this planet. How do we feel about this? Do we even trust Hannah's dad?
I don't trust anyone. Once again, the training situation is giving Mandalorian culture.
Right.
So, I don't know.
It was just weird. Like the whole scenario with Hannah's dad is weird to me, because like he's just sus. I even wrote down sus in my notes. I don't know. He just comes off really weird. And the fact that he just ran instantly to like, we're going to train you.
You don't know us. Why are we training you?
Right. Why? You don't know us. We don't belong on this planet. We're not on your tribe. Why does he want to train these kids? It was very interesting.
It's giving I'm going to use these children as bait.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly that. And I think I even wrote something later. We'll talk about it when it comes up. Yes, I think so too. I think that's exactly what her dad's plan was the whole time. So the kids train, and we're going to train. I quotation train. They were goofing around at per usual. So we see KB, Fern, and Wim all go to train, but
Yep.
Neil stays back, and this is kind of Neil's episode. We already Loki talked about this on 101. This is Neil's episode to kind of shine for me. And so if he actually goes off with Hannah, she wants to show him something on top of the roof of this school, I think Neil said it was.
So it brings in the mirrored actions of like the planet, because to me it looked like the school that was in the beginning of the series. I want to say episode 1, was it? Episode 1.
Yeah.
Where everything about this planet is definitely giving mirrored to Attin. So yeah, I was getting the vibes that this was the exact same school that we've seen in episode 1.
Yes, I would absolutely agree with that. I think these planets are all built the same and very structured the same, and I still want to know why, and I really hope we get answers as to why. There's 8 of these planets. They all start with at something. They all start with at a something. This one is at Attin. Akron. I don't know how to pronounce it, but we're on at Akron. It's Achrann. That's where we currently are. And I want to know why all 8 of these planets look the same. I think they're hiding something. I don't think it's on all of the planets, though. I think it's on one of the planets.
I'm leaning toward it's probably on Attin.
Same. Me too. Hopefully, we're going to get that answer hopefully soon, unless Disney cancels the show, which Disney.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Put it down, baby. But yes, so the planets, yes, we find out they are definitely mirrored. And so we go up to this roof of the school building with Neil and Hannah, and they're having conversation. I think at this point, Hannah's intrigued by Neil because he's so different than what she's seen ever, because everything she knows is very...
Also sheltered.
Yeah. Hannah knows everything to be aggressive. You need to fight, done. And Neil's very diplomatic. I think Neil would be a good senator if that was a thing. Maybe he will be, because he's giving the whole episode, he was giving that vibe. And the first thing I would realize, and as this to be true, is when he gives his rations to the children after he was given his ration of the day. Which won my heart straight.
Also definitely would not be eating that. Here, take it.
I too would not eat it either. But Neil just had he looked down at his food, looked at those children, and he was like, "Here, are you hungry?" And I'm like, "I can't with you. Can't deal." I love him.
Another thing that strikes me as well is how close is this planet to Attin?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Like, how close were they?
That's a good question. I wonder if we can maybe find a map somewhere online where it shows how close all these planets are, because that's a good point. They have to be close, right? You would think so, because I would think so.
Especially with the fact that they're pretty much a carbon copy.
Yeah, exactly. They are. So I would think they're close. They can't be too far away. And especially if me and you are right, and they are hiding something on and obviously it would be where it is. They would want the people or groups trying to find whatever this is to be confused. And which would be easily confused if all these planets were close by. So that's a good point. And I think we should maybe look for a map sometime, because I'm curious. We could probably find one. We're going to do this.
And then trying to think what I was going to say. We'll definitely need to find a map.
I'm writing that down.
But I'm wondering if the lovely owl lady,
Kim,
yes, her, what if she sent them to not Attin?
true. Well, she did, right? Because those are the coordinates that she gave them, correct?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if she threw them off the course because she doesn't want Jod to get there.
Exactly.
Which is interesting, because then she puts them in danger. So I'm very confused of where her mindset is here. She's going to come back. We're going to see her again, because that is a good point. She definitely gave them the false information to steer Jod off the path of what he wants, which we don't necessarily know what he fucking wants. We know he wants treasure.
He wants those credits.
Do we even know if the planet has those credits? Or is that what their payment is? Or was that just something that Wim's dad, Wendell, had? And just here, I know this is worth money.
I think Wim's dad definitely knew the worth. He
For
knew
sure.
what those were worth, because here, get lunch.
Then it feels to me, so if we're just talking about the credits right now, everyone else outside of Attin are treating these credits worth more than a lunch.
Right.
So I'm wondering if that is kind of their currency on Attin, is these gold credits.
I definitely feel like Attin is definitely a treasure planet.
Yeah, or a wealthy planet at the very least.
Which is making me want to actually watch Treasure Planet.
Ooh, I haven't seen that movie in so long. Actually, it's been a decade, maybe even 2 decades since I've seen this movie. But going back to the rooftop with Hannah and Neil, if this is a school building, why is there a big mech gun on the roof? Because she shows Neil this big gun and says, "This is why we're so protected." It's a very interesting thing that I just thought of when I was writing these notes. Why is there this big, huge gun on top of a school?
I don't know.
I know. Not make it make sense kind of ordeal, because it doesn't.
None of it does.
Not even remotely. So that was really interesting to me, that we have this moment where this whole big gun comes out of the top of the school, and I'm just like, why would they need this gun on the school?
How bad are these other people that they're battling?
We only briefly see them when we see SM-33 and Jod having an argument, and then they get captured by the other tribe. And that's the last time we really see them, outside of them walking the ruins when Wim almost got them killed. So good question.
Wim needs a timeout.
Wim does need a timeout, and he definitely, I feel like they all need a break, honestly, because later we'll talk about it. The girls are starting to fall apart.
Was this the episode Wim got his hands on a lightsaber, or was that?
No, it isn't that's the next episode.
More antics from the land of who the fuck knows?
But we will get to it.
Fuck around and find out.
Fuck around and find out. So Neil and Hannah have this heart-to-heart on top of this rooftop after Hannah just showed her this big mech gun, which is another point which I think Neil would be a good senator. He told Hannah that the fighting would never stop, or did she think it would ever stop? And he said he would apologize. We don't even know what they're fighting about, so I don't know what an apology would be for. But he had this very diplomatic way around mending things to help resolve this planet's community, because this fighting will never stop. There will be more casualties. It'll be constant stress on all these people forever. And then we really see how Hannah starts getting drawn to him because she mentions that she's never met anyone like him before.
Are we maybe setting up for him to be a diplomat of some kind?
Yes, I think so.
Because throughout the series, he's kind of given off those qualities.
Mm-hmm.
And it just showed more in this particular episode.
I agree. They are very in your face this episode.
Very.
And I think if we ever go back to Attin, and if we ever got the results of that test that they took, I think that Neil's results would be different than what he would have expected, because I do think some kind of diplomat is where his mindset is. And it's very interesting to see it from such a young person.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I was really into Neil's character this episode as well. So I understand why Hannah is into him, like drawn to him, because I was too this episode. So we go from that roof heart to heart with Hannah and Neil. We go back to her dad, General Strix, and the crew. And the Strix tells them that they're going to lead the Troik into battle, basically. I am like, I literally wrote Strix, what in the heck?
Sir,
Suicide question mark? I said suicide question mark? Because
they were being used as bait. 100%.
That exactly. Bringing it back to when you said that he was using them as bait, I fully agree. Because why would you send these children that did not get training? Let's be so honestly for real. To lead your crew and your company to battle.
How long were they even on this planet?
Not even a day. It has not even been a day. It's been a couple hours.
Maybe.
But we see our crew leading to battle, nervous as heck, visibly shaking. Literally, Neil's shaking. And we hear something in the distance. It's foggy, it's dusty, it's crusty. We can't see what's happening. And then Jod and SM-33 appear out of the crust and dust. Which, he's like, hey, these are yours, babies. And then these Eopies that was stolen are here now. Which,
I think Eopies are like that creature.
I wrote alien cows because that's what they remind me of. Cows.
I think they're in the Jedi Fallen Order game.
I think so. I need to play. I need to finish these games.
I think I've had to. I don't know if it's Jedi Survivor, but you have to ride them at some point.
They do look cute, and they do seem like they could be like mountable animals where you could ride. But they remind me of alien cows. Alien cows. That's what their new name is, everybody. Alien cows.
Yeah, I definitely know I've had to ride them.
Interesting. I wonder what they're used for. Maybe they are for like riding like horses. That's a good, because I was kind of confused of what their purpose was. I wasn't really sure. I wasn't sure if it was like for food like cows, or
that would make sense, because in Jedi Survivor, spoiler alert, you end up at like a Western kind of style village. And that's where you like come in contact with them initially.
Interesting.
So
I have not played Jedi Survivor. I haven't played a lot of games of Star Wars. I need to get on this. Everybody, don't come for me. Don't come for me.
I want to play the Indiana Jones one.
Wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
What's this even about? Hold on. We're off the path for a second, but I need to know. What is it? Indiana Jones Star Wars game?
It's not Star Wars, but Indiana Jones is Lucasfilm, so
Oh, I was. Oh, hee hee ha ha hee hee.
it's
I was.
called Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Oh, okay. I was totally. Yep, it was up here for me. Hi. It was up there.
Just because it's Lucasfilm and it looks like it might be in an adventure that I could get behind.
Ooh. You'll definitely have to let us all know how that is. And if you played this game, please, how is it? Tell us. Tell us below, babies.
How much? Makes me wonder how much it is.
So while we look that up, so John getting these EOBs for General Strix wins his approval. He offers them weapons and all these things, but they really just still want to find out how the heck do we get home. Please help us, please.
Rescue us.
Right. So Hana takes them to what they are calling the Fallen Sanctum, which has coordinates and engravings of all 8 of these sister planets, and Attin's location should be in this Fallen Sanctum. So after Neil's attempt to have Hana join them, she does not go with them. She says she wishes to stay behind with her tribe, with her dad, and wishes to be leader one day. And then she said she would revisit the conversations that her and Neil had. Do we think that Neil meeting Hana on this planet at Akron will help this planet in the future, maybe resolve their issues?
I think it's a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when it comes to Neil, he is giving future senator energy.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that relationship with her, so she's going to end up maybe running the show over there, and then he helps solve the issues
Mm-hmm.
when he is the future senator.
Exactly. I agree. I think I hope Hannah does become the leader of this planet because her dad's sus and weird. And I do think that Neil's impact on her and touch on her will help this planet progress through their problems and maybe resolve them, which then they could rebuild the planet because they are still the capabilities to do so. It would be a lot of work, but they could rebuild the planet.
Possibly.
Which we hope happens. That is what we wish for at Akron.
Akron was giving War Drawn Planet.
Yes, and I'm wondering if all the other planets are similar, or if some of them were actually completely destroyed, like Death Star destroyed kind of level.
Yeah, makes me wonder too. Like, where are we going?
Where? Well, I do not know, but I don't know if it's at Attin or not. I don't know, because the next episode things get spicy, and we're almost to the spice of the next episode because the spice of the next episode is crazy.
This episode 5. Wow.
Yes, wow, indeed, especially in the end, like 30 minutes.
Yeah. What I will say though, what I'm admiring is most of these episodes have all been the same length.
I do like that as well.
Thank you, Disney.
Thank you, Disney, because which we have seen with the Marvel shows, one episode could be 40 minutes, the next episode could be 25. And it's just consistency in this show's length of episodes has been pretty consistent. There are only a couple of minutes. The max, I think, of differences has been like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is great. We love that. That's good in itself. That is slaveful, Disney. Eat down, girl. Eat down.
Because even like, if I want to go back to Acolyte, they were all a hodgepodge of length.
Yeah, Acolyte was not consistent at all with their episodes. Not even remotely. I think one episode was like 20 minutes. I was like, what is this?
And it was one of the better episodes too, if I'm not recalling.
I believe it was as well.
So,
Which, rip Acolyte, Disney, you fucked up. Sorry about it.
please give Skeleton Crew a second season, just because I don't feel like we are going to be resolved.
I do not think we're going to get a conclusion where it will wrap up the whole series. We're going to get a cliffhanger. I feel like that's already like in my mind. We're getting one. We only have 2 episodes left?
I think
Or
so.
3 episodes? Is there 7 episodes or 8 episodes?
I don't remember.
Momentarily, let's figure this out. Skeleton Crew episodes.
8.
8. Okay, so we have 3 more episodes, but that will quickly become 2 because the episode's right around the corner. We only got a couple days till the episode 6 comes out. We're almost done, and I think the 2 episodes come out on the same day, right? The final 2 episodes. So we only got 2 weeks left because I think 7 and 8 come out on the same day, kind of like how Agatha's last 2 episodes came out on the same day.
Interesting.
I think I could be wrong. Clock my tea if I'm wrong, but I think that's happening. So at the end, so we're coming to the conclusion of episode 4 here with our group of friends enter the Fallen Sanctum, enter this room. It's got columns and it's very, very crusty in here. And all these columns have information and locations and coordinates of all 8 of these sister planets. And we get to Attin's pillar column, and the coordinates are destroyed, completely gone off this, blown to smithereens, which we find out that
something doesn't want them home.
Something doesn't want them home. SM-33 actually admits that he's the one to bust that shit down. He's the one that blew up the pillar. So, interesting, huh? Why is Attin so... Why are people or whoever determined so hard to not have Attin be discovered? Why is this such a difficult situation? I really want to know.
I want to know.
We're never going to find out.
I don't think so either.
It's got to be due to whatever they're hiding, whatever's on Attin, whatever this thing is. I don't think it's just money. It's got to be something bigger than just money. So whatever this thing is, someone really, really is determined, and they are making it very difficult for people that even live there not being able to find its way back. Like, what in the... Crazy. It's crazy. So once we find this, Fern has a little breakdown.
Oh, Fern.
Anyway, what were you going to say?
Girl, get it together.
Oh, Fern has a breakdown to Wim and about not knowing what to do, how he should have been captain, how she isn't a good captain, and doesn't know how they're going to get home.
Girl, Wim should never be captain.
No.
Look at how much shit he's gotten you guys into.
I was going to ask, how do we feel? Do we think that's correct? No, Wim should never be captain.
Know, if Wim was captain, y'all would probably not be living.
Even with Wim not as captain, you've been almost killed.
Multiple times.
We're on 2 or 3 times already, and we get another time later. So it's like, what? But yes, Fern has a breakdown. Wim doesn't give her very good advice, just says that she should be captain, which out of everyone, she should be. If anyone else was captain, I would say it would be KB.
I would agree with that. I would have said KB as well.
That's the only ones. The boys are too much.
But I wonder if Neil would have been a good captain.
I was going to say.
Just because he's in his leadership era, it feels like.
Mm-hmm. He is. He's becoming a leader, I think, more so now. Which I could see him being a good captain later. Maybe not right this second, but later. Sure. But so Fern calms her shit down. She calms herself down. She comes up with this idea that she uses on her own droid at home to lie to her mother, basically, where she then asks SM-33 to remember everything about Attin, which then things get haywire for these last few minutes of this episode. SM-33 remembers everything about Attin, which he was told to forget by his previous captain, but then he goes bat. He goes crazy. He is instructed to order to kill anyone that ever sees the location of Attin, and then he goes on to say he's going to rip them apart. And then he kind of starts attacking our friends here.
Mm-hmm.
He starts attacking, but Neil steps in. Neil does his big one, does his biggie, steps in to distract SM-33 from the other kids, which is plenty of time for John to come in and turn SM-33 off. So Neil saved the day. Neil saves the day, and no one's shredded to pieces, and I was impressed. This episode was very good. That concluded the episode. But how do we feel about this episode? A lot of people think it's boring, but I would disagree.
I would also disagree. And the reason for that is I don't know if Star Wars fans are giving it the chance it deserves. And if you think about it, yes, I guess it is a little boring, but it's definitely going somewhere.
It's going somewhere. I don't know, because the
little Easter eggs.
It's just everything about this episode. Well, I just liked it mostly because it gave Neil what we all needed to see from him. Because he kind of just been there as as a side character, as a sidekick, if you will, to Wim.
The thing I think we're going to see in the next 3 episodes or so, I could see everyone's going to get a little bit of a story arc.
Mm-hmm.
You had Neil had a moment this episode. And I feel like Fern maybe had a little bit of one in this one.
I agree.
So...
Mm-hmm. I want more. And then KB had a little moment a few episodes back where she kind of was clocking Jod's tea when she was up
the episode with Kim, wasn't it?
I believe so, because it was at the end of that episode when they got back on the ship. So yes, we are seeing these kids get their little moments, and I think Neil's moment was this whole episode because we see him really in a light that was hard. I felt good watching this episode when it came to the scenes with Neil.
It's very wholesome.
Mm-hmm, very extremely, and that's kind of what I like to watch. There's 2 different sides of me: either wholesome content like that, or full blown action packed craziness. And so it was good because this show has had a lot of action, lots of craziness. I like the whole let's draw it back a little for an episode. Because next episode, it gets crazy again. It's a balance. It's a good balance.
It's wholesome, and then there's moments where we are getting those action-packed scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say episode 5 was pretty...
Six notes.
The
6 pages of notes.
We blasted off into hyperspace with this one.
Yes, we're blasting off into episode 5. Let's get right into episode 5. You have a lot to learn about pirates.
Do we?
Do we? Do that they do, actually. Pirates are kind of dumb. Let's be so for real. The pirates in this series have been kind of goofy, kind of like not thinking too far ahead. They think in the now instead of like the consequences that come from things. So, episode 5. We start out back at Attin, where we see Wendell, which is Wim's dad, get approached by Neil's mother, and her name is Mora? No. Numa. Sorry, I can't even read my own writing. Numa. So we got Wendell and Numa. Numa tells Wendell that they need to get the coordinates or the access codes, rather, to be able to leave the planet. They need the barrier access codes. And Wendell doesn't have clearance to get the codes. So, Norma gives him this key-like item, which will bypass and give him the access he needs to get the codes so that they can get off this planet and go find their children. They are desperately wanting to do this now. I think they think time is running out for their children. But, like, this is kind of some real tea. How did Norma get this item? How did she get this key? Like, these parents are going
shocked. I was shocked about her.
Me too. From how we see Neil in the series as a whole, I wouldn't think of his mother being this individual that has access to these items that could like bypass security and get these codes that are planetary security codes. Like, this is the top of the top codes. Like, how did I don't know. I have no idea how she
was up to something.
It was crazy. I kind of was impressed. I'm not going to lie. I didn't see it coming from her. I thought she was just going to be there kind of panicking next to him. But nope, they had a plan. And Wendell did try to go and carry out the plan. However, Wendell gets caught by one of our lovely droids of that, and that kind of freaked me out.
The eye people?
Yes. The droid catches Wendell doing some shady things, asks to see his hands, and in this cute attempt to avoid being seen with this key, Wendell gets caught with the key that Neil's mother had given him, and the droid takes him to Fern's mother, who is named Thera. And now, with the conversation, Fern's mother kind of saves the day when it comes to Wendell, addresses the droid to forget everything that had been seen, destroy the key, and Wendell and Farrah have this conversation in which they agree that they're going to have to figure this out on their own. Farrah's trying to do it all the right way, through the right paths to get access for them to leave, to go find their kids, but that's probably going to take forever, and Wendell's like, we don't got that kind of time, sis. We got to do it now. So
I am kind of with him.
I agree. I was like, do we agree with what they're saying? How do we feel about them? And do we think they can do it on their own?
I'm not 100% sure if they can do it on their own.
Mm-hmm.
But I admire the moxie of doing it alone.
I agree. I think it would be difficult for them because in all reality, what knowledge do they have to go into hyperspace? They've lived on this planet their whole lives, not able to leave.
I don't think they've lived on this planet their whole lives.
You don't think that the parents have lived there their whole lives?
No.
Ooh, that's a conspiracy theory. Why do we say that? Why do you think that?
I think maybe the kids have, but the parents are in a level of government for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Attin was a job. So I'm not 100% sure that they have been there their whole lives. And I think it is a possibility that the mom definitely died on that planet related to their work.
Interesting. I like that theory a lot, actually. That the parents, I do agree with the parents being in some form of. I feel like every adult on this planet is in some form of government. I agree. The parents know what's happening and what the tea is. That the kids are kind of oblivious until they obviously would get older. But
Right.
yes, I agree there, and I actually really like the thought that they came because they were instructed to by the government to live on this planet. That
And
is
the
a
other
very
thing is, that mural, was it episode 2?
yes.
The mural in the house, I feel like the parents have all been on an adventure of some kind together, which explains the mural.
And it also would explain them getting to the planet because they all came together. So they came from whatever X place to Attin together. So I like that. That's a very good thought, and I think maybe you're onto something, honestly, with that one.
It's just why do the parents know where to get the tools to get out?
Exactly. Which is yeah, shocking that that Neil's mom just kind of is like, here, this will get you through the access codes. Here you go, baby.
Okay,
Or
girl, I thought you were busy raising your 8 elephant people.
his little brothers and sisters, and I forget their names, but they're adorable. We love them.
But they were where I didn't expect her to have override tools.
No, absolutely not. You would never see that. Which maybe that's a ploy. Maybe their whole
Part of
like
the con.
yeah, exactly. You would never expect Neil's family to have these items or access to kind of break into the government. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe it is. It would. I would not be like, that's the person I need to go to because they got that item. I would think of maybe Fern's mother if I had to like pick somebody to have those things.
I thought like that's the thing, like Fern's mom was giving higher authority there.
Mm-hmm.
But if it wasn't for her, I think maybe KB's parents would have override power.
Maybe I forget what their positions were. I think they have similar positions as Wynn's dad does, though. So I'm not sure, but I don't remember. I want them to come back. I want KB's moms to come back because it's interesting that we have two females together as a couple in a Disney show is crazy to me, and I want them to come back.
I'm just like interested.
I'm wondering if like they will come back or not, and maybe not both of them will, but maybe one will. Because I think Disney it was like a subtle thing that they put in that they don't want to like push too hard because you know how people will be. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
wondering if we'll ever see them together again, or if one of the mothers will come and the other one will stay. Kind of like how I don't think both Neil's parents will come. Obviously, I think the mother will come. Maybe.
It's just interesting. Like Fern's mom was like, "Oh, override this,"
Hmm.
and then so she's got to be definitely a higher position on that planet.
Hmm.
Like I don't think we're gonna get all the answers in episode.
In 3 episodes, yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm. Me either. I think that we have to have this. We have more questions than answers going on here, and we definitely need a season 2. I don't think we're going to get all of our questions answered, but like there's some really big ones that we need answered. So,
ASAP.
so once the conversation with Wendell and Farah ends with them agreeing that they got to do it on their own. We jump back to our crew, in which SM-33 is tied up, shut down, and Jod mentions this briefly, that he knows that the ship's name. We finally know that the ship is called Onyx Cinder, and it's the most infamous pirate ship. But no one's really kind of having it.
Well, we kind of figured it was a pirate ship.
Right, which we knew it was a pirate ship. But
especially when we met SM.
Yes. We definitely knew it was a pirate ship, but he announces the name of the ship is called Onyx Cinder. And no one's kind of having his stories. Fern, after they turn SM-33 back on, he's not like lethal this time. And Fern asks SM-33 about Attin once again. And he says that the information that they need is on Skull Ridge Mountain, which is the old lair of the previous captain, Tuck Reynolds. So,
I wonder if Tuck Reynolds is the one that was the pirate that was against Jod on that planet that they met him on, like the wolf guy.
No, his name is Brutus. No, I'm wondering if it's not the guy from episode 1 that was masked.
Maybe.
That's who I think it is.
Where did it, but like, here's my thing, where is the rest, where is that crew? What happened to that crew when they were on Attin for the ship to be what seemed to be abandoned?
I'm wondering that
did they all die?
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. There's a part in the episode where actually during, like, right now as we're speaking, the next part of my notes, SM-33 talks about the crew and talks about a story in which Reynolds instructed the ship to tank into the planet and so I'm wondering if they didn't die on the planet or when they like hit the planet.
Impact?
Yeah, impact.
Just like, where is this crew?
I think they died. My assumption is they're all dead. Yeah. Reynolds, no one knows what happened to him. He kind of disappeared. But I think the crew itself all died when Reynolds instructed the ship to tank into the planet. But this Reynolds guy is confusing to me. Do we think that he maybe lives on Attin, was from Attin? Because there's a lot of things that he's trying too hard to like keep it hidden, you know? The kill switch on SM-33, the fact that he blew up the location in that pillar, the fact that it's like literally impossible to even talk about Attin. I wonder, do we think that he has any connection?
Them to get back.
Exactly. I'm wondering if Reynolds has a connection to Attin that's not just pirate looking for treasure, but is there something more?
Quite possible.
It is. It's a very interesting thought I had when I was watching the episode. So interesting. But so we have another breakdown. Wim has a breakdown this time, and he's homesick. And then Jod kind of gives him this advice to forget your family, forget your fears, forget it all. You don't need it.
That's okay. So that part right there, like the attachment situation, is giving a little bit of Jedi.
It is.
Because as a Jedi, they want you to forget your attachments, etc.
Yeah, they want you to let go of all of it.
So that makes me wonder, was he a Jedi? I keep going back and forth, like, was he Jedi, was he not?
I'm wondering the same thing, and right after this conversation about Jod doing and telling him to forget everything, which I also agree is exactly what they want from the Jedi, because if you hold on to the attachments, it could lead to dark side. But Wim
Anakin Skywalker.
literally Anakin. Wim asks Jod right after this conversation how Jod uses the Force if he's not a Jedi, which he does not reply. So I do think maybe he is an old Jedi that maybe is a gray Jedi, kind of left the order like Ashoka did, like
Found his way down the scoundrel path.
Mm-hmm. I'm wondering. I think that makes sense. It just does to me, at least. So it's interesting.
I'm very on the scales. I'm like, is he? Is he not?
It's It's hard to say. I don't think. I don't know what I think. I think he obviously has been trained somewhat because we see him use abilities that you can't just use. Well, actually, no, you could probably just use those and learn on your own because he's only force moved items, right? He's never done anything else but move the key from when he was locked in the prison. Mm-hmm. And we see him use it again in this episode when we find that lightsaber in a bit, but that's all he's done. Oh, actually, he turned on lights, right? Or machinery. Mm-hmm. So
when he was having a conversation with KB.
Right. So maybe he was a force-sensitive kid that didn't get trained, because this just made me think of, in one of the newer Star Wars films at the end, we see the kid that forces the broom to his hand. I think that's in the episode 9. I would have to show you, but there's a scene at the very end of the last Star Wars film where at the end...
Is it during Rise of Skywalker?
I think so. It's not, maybe not at the very end, but it's in this. There is a scene in that film where a child forces a broom to his hand from across the room. So I'm wondering if he just never was trained. He was a force sensitive child that wasn't trained to be a Jedi, because at this time there aren't those.
Interesting.
That's a good point. Good question.
But then Kim was giving Jedi.
She was. Or
I don't know.
We don't know. We could circle around this idea for a long time, because there's things that point to it and there's things that point away from it. It's like a pull and it's like a tug and come. We're playing tug of war, baby, on this. So it's very
the scales. It's like da 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 da.
Yes, thank you. The scales, yes. So in the episode, we finally get to this planet. It's called Lanupa. I'm probably butchering the name of this, but this planet where they were instructed to go for this lair, and they get stopped by these security ships that said it's only a peaceful planet. Any trouble caused, them will shoot you down, baby. So this looks great, right? This planet's peaceful, baby. Nice and good, right?
But as long as you behave. Other than if you don't, we'll shoot you down.
Right. And only adults are allowed on the planet, which, how do we feel about that? Why do we think that's the case?
Dirty.
The kids disrupt the peace.
It's giving adults only section of a cruise ship.
Literally, maybe it's because kids literally break the peace, baby. It's Disney saying that your kids break the peace, baby.
Maybe there's some space strippers. I don't know.
It didn't seem like anything was really going on, but mud baths that we saw. But maybe there's some other stuff that we didn't see on this planet. Who knows? But I just thought it was funny that it was an adult only planet. It was weird. So, well, we have some children, so obviously we're not all adults.
4 wise people.
So we have these disguises, and John has these children put on disguises that make them look elderly, or he's saying that they're elderly while they are walking around this planet. How do we feel about these disguises? Would we be fooled by these?
No.
Hell no. Hell no. Absolutely not. These kids were acting a fool. I think one of them was like, "Ooh, do, 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 do." I'm like, what are you doing? I was like, what are we doing?
Did we miss the part where Jod becomes captain?
No, that's at the end of the episode. No, that's at the very end. That's where things. We need to talk about that because that part is wild. But no, we didn't miss that part yet. So, in this planet where these kids, these elderlies, are so convincing, we find a bounty hunter. Her name is Pocket, where Jod recognizes her, and she calls him by a new name, the 30th one, Dash Zenton.
Take a shot
And
every time he gets a new name.
literally, drinking game, Star Wars, adults only, 21 plus. Yes, but since we are finding a bounty hunter on this planet in this location, there's a lot of things that are not good about the situation, and we learned a lot of things in this 5-minute conversation. So, Jod had stolen a bounty hunter from Puckett before and left her to die. So there's one thing we learned. Not good already. Not starting off good.
I'm not surprised.
Me either. I'm not surprised either. So that's the one thing we learned that's not good about the situation of a bounty hunter being on the planet. If we recall from episode 3, Brutus puts a bounty on all of them, the kids and him, which is another not good situation when you find a bounty hunter on a planet that you're on. And the kicker,
a peaceful planet.
A peaceful planet. She does say she's resting. She's solely resting on this planet, but that's a lie. This is not good. And John knows this is a bad situation for all of them because he knows that she's not here just resting. She's looking for him. It's just not good. So, John knows this, and you can tell he's kind of stressing at this point because he throws all the rest of their credits at their guide that they have to like hurry up, get them to their suite. We gotta go. We gotta get it cracking.
Me and my wise people need a peace.
Me and my wise old men over here need some fucking peace, baby. So we finally get to this suite that they are in. They take off the disguises. And Jod, again, you can tell he's stressed because the kids aren't really cooperating. And he kind of yells at them to like we gotta go. We gotta get the coordinates now.
We gotta get it done because people are coming for me.
And them. The kids and the kids. So do we think Jod's what's like his approach to getting the kids on board, yelling at them, kind of like getting snippy? Do we think this was a good call? How would we feel in his situation right now?
You know, I feel like I'm not one for yelling, but I think it kind of, because they are the children, they are kids. I think they needed that to be put in their place a little bit.
I agree. I definitely agree. I think if I were him, I too would have been like, let's go. I probably would have said a few more choice words than he did. I would have been like, we gotta go. We gotta figure out the worst. We gotta do this now. We've got limited time. And kids finally get it kind of together, and they're splitting up. They're splitting up, and it's SM33, Fern and Wim on a team, and then Jod, KB, and Neil on a team. So they split up. Fern and Wim and SM33 go to the pipes, go underground, and the other 3 go to the mountains to look at these carvings that are on the mountain. And this is kind of where everything goes crazy. This is when the episode starts really picking up because both teams find themselves in some trouble. KB, Neil, and Jod get stopped by security, and it just goes. They're kind of in a really worse spot, I would say, than SM33, Fern, and Wim. So they get chased by security. And then our other team, SM33, Fern, and Wim, get stopped by attendant who's in the bath or some kind of solution with big tentacles. I don't know what species this is either. It literally is like
they kind of made friends with him.
They did, and that's why the other team has the worst of the troubles, because Fern gets accused of being assassin by this attendant, and he kind of starts popping off. Then we jump back to KB, Neil, and Jod, who are getting chased by security. They are stuck, and then they bust some pipes, and mud goes all over these securities. So we're causing a ruckus. We got children. We're causing a ruckus. We are no longer keeping the peace. The three on the mountain are kind of doomed right now.
Yeah.
But going back to Wim and Fern, they've entertained this attendant, and we find out his name is Catholops, which
Come on, Catholops.
Catholops, which he kind of was giving a Cthulhu vibe, so Catholops is a valid name. But he actually helps them out. There's a symbol of the Talk Reddins, or whatever his name, Reynold. There's a symbol that was his, and our friend Catholops opens it for them, just like, hey baby, here you go, because they've entertained him now. They've told him stories of where they came from, what they've been doing, and he's totally into it now. He's like invested in these kids.
He's like, come back, tell me the rest.
Exactly. So he opens it for them, and this is when the episode actually starts getting crazy. The pirates show up to the planet right after they open this entrance. They come in blowing up those security ships that we saw earlier that stopped our crew. And then it's time to get it popping. It's time to get really going now. So we enter the lair.
It was a lot.
It just doesn't stop from here on out. Like, this episode just doesn't stop. Because we enter the lair, the crew enters the lair, and we already who tricks or who steps on a trap? Good old Neil. He hits a laser trap that almost kills them all. But they're kids, so they're short. It misses all of them. Do we think they were lucky in this situation? Do we think they keep getting lucky?
When is the luck going to run out for them?
When is the luck going to run out? That's a good question, because honestly, if we really think about all these episodes so far, all 5, their luck has literally been the only reason we're still alive.
Yeah.
There's not been no real rhyme or reason to why they're alive outside of being lucky.
Yeah, them being lucky is the only reason they are currently alive.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Just like, why, ladies? Why?
But it doesn't stop there. Their luck is not their luck. So they are followed by, at this point, the pirates and Pocket are all following them now into this lair. They are on their trails, on the tails. We got to keep it moving quickly. So we get to this pool, which it doesn't look like acid, but it is. We find that out because Neil throws something in it, right? I forget who throws something in it. I thought it was Neil. I think Neil throws something in it, and we realize, or Jod, one of the two, throws something in the pool of acid, and it kind of disintegrates like acid does. So there's words actually on the ceiling of this layer, or on the, what is the term I look for? The mountain that they're in, basically, on the top here. We see the words, all who enter paradise most make the greatest sacrifice. KB sees this, she reads it out. What do you think if you were there in that situation and you saw the words, all who enter paradise must make the greatest sacrifice? What do you think that would mean to you? Because they're the same. Me too. Because KB goes directly to death in her, like, what she thinks, and I kind of would be the same way. I know that maybe, I don't know, I would think it would be death too, but that is not the case, because we are in a pirate's lair. So treasure, exactly. Jod figures out the meaning, throws into the last credit that they have, and the acid drains, and it shows the staircase leading down. At this point, the pirates are like right here. Don't they shoot a couple times? They're like right behind them. So we got to keep it moving. So they slam this door shut behind these pirates, and they go down these stairs. And the stairs lead to this trove of treasures. There is so much treasure that this Reynolds has been storing here, has been put here. There's so much stuff. It's kind of crazy. And you don't want to touch anything because there's booby traps everywhere. There gotta be.
Yeah.
And that is when we actually, Wim finds something. He finds a lightsaber in this massive treasures, picks it up, doesn't even think anything twice, grabs that piece. Like, there's another thing that Wim could have done that could have killed them. He picks up this lightsaber, and he's just like, oh my, he's like mesmerized by it, basically. And I'm just like, bro, really?
Till he burns his finger or something.
Right. He's going to kill himself with this lightsaber because he doesn't know how to use it. But they know that they have to find this data storage unit situation to find the coordinates for Attin, in which they really shouldn't touch anything. It really should have been John looking through everything and trying to find this. But Neil makes a big one again. He must be hungry because on this table of rotten food, there's one piece of food, a roast, that looks completely good on this plethora of rotted, disgusting filth. And he's like, "That's it. What's that?" And then, so Neil originally is going to grab it, but Jod stops that since we know Neil has popped off a couple traps now, multiple.
Yeah.
And he grabs it. They find out it is the data port they need. But things start getting weird. This episode starts taking a turn further crazy. So
It definitely was for the crazy.
It was further crazy. And it's just... So they do find Attin's coordinates within this data port, right? Yay, happy days. We found out we're good. We're good, girlies. Nope, that's not the case. Firstly, Jod's demeanor starts to change in this moment.
Yeah.
He tells SM33 to turn the acid pool back on, which in the background we hear that our pirate friends in the back are dying. So bye Pocket, bye pirates, they all die in this acid pool that Jod turns back on. And then he wants to see a hologram that was created by Reynolds, which he shows. It's kind of janky, as we saw. It doesn't really... You don't see him. You don't see his face, so we still don't know who this person is. And that's when he then proceeds to... This is when everything changes. It was crazy to me, because when I was watching it, like, the whole room of this episode just completely changes. And Jod challenges Fern for captain out of nowhere, left field. How did we feel about this? Was it crazy? Because when I watched it, I was like, what is happening?
I was like, what move is he trying to make here?
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, I wasn't surprised.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested to see where this is going.
I don't know what his motive is now, or what his motive always was, but now he knows he can expedite it or something, like turn it actually up and on.
Yeah.
But it was a crazy scene, because in the scene, Fern tries to fight back because she doesn't like what's happening. None of them do. It's very weird. His attitude completely changes towards them. He kind of looks like demonic a little bit at this point. Very, very dark. He doesn't seem like who we've seen these episodes. He actually pulls a knife on Fern at her throat and tells her to forfeit so he doesn't have to hurt her rather. And then Wim, here we go. Wim's trying to get his big one. Picks up that lightsaber, turns that on, and he's facing it the wrong way, so it hits the ground, freaks him out, and he drops it. And then Fern has to submit because Wim messed up. So now the captain has changed to Jod. And not only that, but he's completely changed his demeanor. He's completely changed his attitude towards the kids, and actually tells SM-33 to get them as prisoners now. So now they're prisoners, or going to be. And SM-33 approaches them, and this is the part of the episode I told you I did not like. When Wim triggers the trap to let the ground fall beneath them, and they all fall down. That's the part I didn't like, because I feel like that would instantly be death.
Yeah.
Like, where did they go? All the children are in this, they're falling to who knows where now. And that's how the episode ends.
Maybe Cathaldra will help them.
Catholics, come back! But yes, the episode ends with our lovely group of children falling to the ground, or falling through the ground because
To what could be their death.
to what could be their death. And what I would think, if in that situation, would be death, but it's Disney, so we know how that's going to go.
I don't know where that's going.
I don't know either. But how did we feel about this episode? How did we feel about both episodes? That's all. How did you guys feel about the episodes? Please let us know below.
I'm curious as to what's going to happen next.
Yes, because where are we going?
Because I'm with you where I would say it looked like they were falling to their death.
Yeah, like where else would this be going to end up? Their luck, like we discussed, it has to come back around again, because I feel like this would lead to death, but they'll get lucky again, and something will save them somehow.
Yeah, I don't know. What is his motives? Does he think now, hey, I've got the coordinates, I don't need these kids?
That's a good question, and really what I want to know too, what was the sudden shift in finding the coordinates and seeing this hologram from Reynolds that changed him so suddenly? Like, it was a quick change. It was crazy.
It happened in the blink of an eye, it felt like.
It did. Yeah, it absolutely did. Just from that, yeah, I don't know. It was very quick. It was like giving him like a little psychotic, a little bit. It was weird.
I want to know too. I want to know what hut was at the spa.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
And I want to mention the actress that played the bounty hunter. She played Myrta in Brave.
Oh, I did not know that. That is a very cool nod to Disney using and recycling actors and actresses.
They
That's
do it
cool.
a lot, but yeah.
They do it a lot. They definitely do. And I like that. That's actually really cool. I didn't know that. Her character was really cool. I really liked her.
I want to know more about her.
Yeah, I wanted to too, but she died.
Everybody dies.
Rip Pocket. Goodbye, girl. You died.
Maybe she'll get a sideshow.
Maybe we'll see her again. We don't really see bounty hunters that much. There are a lot of bounty hunters. Well, we see them, but we only see like the big named one, like the big name 3. Like, we never see there's so many. I like a lot of them. There's a bounty hunters in Star Wars canon that you see, but they don't get any lines in movies and shows of Star Wars, there's some that I really want to know more about.
Yeah, me too.
I think Disney should really think about having a show based on bounty hunters. You know how we have like the Tales of the Jedi? Can we get like the Tales of Bounty Hunters?
Ooh, that would be fun.
I would like that a lot, actually. But yes, that's all I have. Any other comments or thoughts about this episode?
No, like I said, I don't know where we're going for 3 episodes left.
I don't know either. I do think the parents will end up leaving.
Are we going to see Kim again?
That's maybe KB will need her in this next episode, and we'll see her that way to save them from this situation that Wynn put them in. Who knows? Who knows?
Are they going to get back on the ship?
Is Jod going to leave them?
That makes me wonder.
Maybe that's why they'll need Kim, because they're stranded on this planet that they're not even allowed to be on.
They're the wise people. They'll figure it out.
So there's a lot to unfold in the next 3 episodes, and we will see what happens, but I couldn't tell you what we're doing. We'll find out very shortly.
In like 3 days, right?
Yep. But we will see.
3 days.
3 days, new
And we will
episode.
be back here once again, covering everything skeleton crew.
Yes, we will be back at
We're
a
gonna
regular.
look for a map.
Mhm. Yes, we will look for a map and see if we can figure out how close these planets are. And we will be back not so late this time with content on Skeleton Crew. But thank you guys for watching this episode. We will be back. We are ready to see what happens in these last 3 episodes. And bye.
No.
And until next time, Anchorites, and thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Chaos Chronicles. Feel free to check the links below for our TikTok, Instagram, and much more. And what were your thoughts on this week's episode? How did you feel about what happened in this week's universe? We would love to hear from you. Please leave your comments down below. And until next time, once again, I'm Dusty, and this is my co-pilot, Jordyn, and we are Chaos Chronicles. Thank you so much for watching.